Oh, it's bad. It's really bad. Yeah, so it's currently 6 o'clock in the morning. I've been up for a little while now, as the rain started a lot earlier than predicted, and very quickly, once it got heavy, this portion of the concrete started leaking, as it's obviously not sealed, which was a bit of a problem because it's caused loads of moisture and loads of stuff. The worst thing being, my bag is soaked. Like, the entirety of it is soaked. Thankfully, it's water resistant enough that everything inside seems okay. Plus, most of the stuff inside is actually in stuff sacks as well, which are also water resistant. So yeah, that's the sit rep, guys. Basically, it's wet, it's cold. I've got all my gear on to keep myself warm, and I've tried to move around as much as I can to stay warm. It's a bit annoying that I didn't get some firewood and bring it underneath here with me last night. I did think about doing that, but I considered that if I got up and stayed under here, I wouldn't necessarily want to be doing a fire. It could get quite smoky, and I could bring some bad attention to myself if someone turned up early. So I decided to just to have the cold breakfast. I'm regretting that decision now. I really would love to have had some dry wood in here ready for a fire, and I can tell you now, smoke be damned, I'd be cracking it on, and I'd be getting myself warm, because not a soul is about, and I don't expect to see anybody either. And that would have been lovely, but no such luck. Excuse me. Ugh. Did not get as much sleep as I should have last night. I slept well enough, but the early wake up call from the sound of all this slapping on the bivvy was not good. So yeah, and I decided I'd just get up and get things sorted, because I wasn't going to be able to sleep with the stress of all that happening. Oh, I'm gonna get my breakfast sorted, try to dry out my pack as best as possible, and then pack all my gear away, and hopefully when the rain stops, which it's due to do about 7 or 8 o'clock, I'll be able to get cracking, and just walking and building up heat that way will keep me warm, and hopefully dry my bag out a little bit behind me, at least on the bits that are touching and near me. And maybe the fresh air and just the breeze will dry out the rest. Change of plan, guys. I'm heading off before I have breakfast. I haven't even done up my shoes, to be honest. There's somebody actually turned up in a car. I don't know where they went to. They've gone into the building, or they've just sit in the car. But yeah, I've made the call even before they turned up, to be honest. I had a quick little recce on Google Maps, and I spotted a bus shelter. And depending on wind direction, that might be a nicer place just to stop and have my breakfast. Well, it's good and bad news. Good news is the rain is almost stopped. The bad news is the bus shelter is not really that dry. I don't really want to hang around here. It's a bit busy. I don't want to have my chocolate milk here, so what I'm thinking of doing is, I've got a few hobnobs left from yesterday that I didn't actually finish off, so I'm going to finish them off here and now. Once I've had those, I'm going to head over to the car park over there. I'm going to have a little walk around as if I'm looking for something. I'm not going to buy anything, I just want to get a bit warmed up, and then after a few minutes, when I feel like I've got a little bit of heat back into me, I'm going to carry on and get some miles under my belt, then try and find a place where I can stop and have my chocky. Best case scenario, I might even find some wood and a place to have a little fire so I can warm it up and have a hot chocky, and that would be awesome this morning. So that's the hope, but worst case scenario, I'll have it cold a bit later. But for now, hobnobs and then the co-op. Well, I'm just trying to plough on here, but I'm in the middle of it. And when I say that, I'm not talking metaphorically. I am literally in the middle of a bogged down field. Like, I just need to get to there, and I'm just struggling to find a place to even walk on at this point. I may have to just blast through this and be damn the wet feet, but because I'm pretty sure they're already getting damp. There's only so much my Gore-Tex shoes are going to handle. It's such a short distance between me and where it's safe over there, but it's enough. I mean, I can try jumping this and seeing what I can do, but if I land on anywhere but terra firma, I'm going to get a really wet foot. Oh, my foot's sinking already. Let's stand here. Right, I mean, there's not much for this. I'm just gonna. No, that's pretty bad. Okay, high point, not a high point, but it'll have to do. And I'm gonna start getting the wet foot now. Oh, God, gotta go for it. Sorry about the footage. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got wet foot now. There's just no backtracking me at the moment. I am not going backwards. I've just gone through the worst muddy fields and just dealing with this for like the last, I don't know, 40 minutes maybe. It feels like hours, but I'm not going backwards, because it means going through all of it again. I need to end up where I was and behind schedule. I'm not having it. So if I have to have a wet foot, I have a wet foot. Presumably here. No. Oh, fuck me. What path am I supposed to be on then? Oh, I'm going back up. Oh. What was that way? That just said I was going the wrong way, but it's not the wrong way. Right, I think this might be my way through. Yeah, just up here. This looks promising. Well, not promising, but it looks like the thing I would need. The trail goes to the other corner as well. Let me just check the map. Okay, abandon that idea. I think I need to go to the corner. It's a proper miserable start to the day. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It's just a miserable start. You might be thinking to yourself, oh, he's being wishy-washy about this. I'd go through that, you just need wellies on. Well, next time you fancy walking 115 miles in 8 days with wellies on, let me know. I'll come along and film it for you. And we'll see how well your feet do in wellies. I've got to wear proper shoes for hiking, and I mean, even in some really deep hiking boots, this is a bit horrific. I'd have had better chance with some really heavy duty ones and going up to the ankles maybe, but that's a lot of weight still. That's weight to think about. Okay, the weight's not on my back, but my feet have still got to carry it, my legs have still got to carry it. You know, I assume this path just leads to the other end of this. While it might not be as straight as the one out there, it's a chance just to enjoy a little bit of nature. And I might get a spot here to stop and have breakfast. If there's anything to sit on and it looks potentially dry, then I'd definitely think about having my breakfast, because a hot chockey right now, oh, what a dream. Well, that was an absolute disaster. Going through the fields and the footpaths was a bad idea. I should have been on the roads and the pathways on those. I did think about that, and I decided I'd rather risk the fields and the footpaths than walk along some of the bigger roads with all the traffic, because obviously that's got dangers of its own. But I'm kind of wishing I had now, because that was grim, and I might have got here a bit quicker and avoided the rain. There's a wreck down here, that's what I'm aiming for. I'm hoping they've got some shelter for me, but if not, say the least. Well, there's no proper shelter here. I was hoping for one of those like seated areas with the canopy, but no such luck. But what I have got is this little kiddie's climbing frame, which seems to be out of order, but I think it'd be out of order if I wasn't allowed to just sit here under it. It's not exactly dry under here, but I'm sheltered from the worst of the rain. Unfortunately, there's this big tube just here, like that they crawl through, and it's allowing all the wind through, and I wish that wasn't there. And then I'd have a little bit of respite from the wind as well. So this is not going to be a long stop. I'm just going to stop to rest my feet. I'm not going to take my shoes off or anything. I'm just not going to deal with any of that right now. I don't have the patience, the time, or the inclination to look at my feet and try to figure anything out. I'm not even sure what I could do. They're wet, and that's that. All I can really do now is have some hobnobs, have a little bit of drink, and just try to recharge myself. I'm not going to have my hot chockey yet. It's just not an environment here where I want to start cracking all that out. I need to find myself a little bit of shelter from the wind and the rain, and then maybe do something like that. This is Sods law. Oh, mad times I say it when you stop for lunch and you've been waiting for bench for ages, and you eventually just go, oh, I can't wait any longer, I'm just going to sit on the floor. You have your lunch, and then like 5 minutes after lunch you find a bench. You're like, oh, and that's what's happened here. I've just sat underneath that kids play area, dealing with the wind and everything still, and yet in here there's no wind and it's perfectly bone dry. Oh, so I'm going to take stock. I'm going to have a few M&Ms, sit down with my feet up on that bench, and try to figure out what I'm going to do and what's my best course of action. The rain's finally stopped, or is... Oh! There you can see how wet it is out there. As I was saying, the rain has finally stopped, or is all but stopped. I'm pretty confident it's not going to rain again, that's what the report says, and the sky is looking a lot brighter. So I'm ready to crack on. It's just a load of stuff along the road, so it's going to be pretty much just boshing that out as fast as possible. The pack's a lot lighter. I've got some energy in me because I've had a long rest. I'm ready to get this thing done, and I've also found a spot where I can stay for the night, hopefully. So let's get cracking. Ugh, trip straight away, trying to avoid that. Oh, it's not stopped raining. Ah. Well, it's close to stop raining. It's time to move either way. I've had enough hanging around in there. So, first place to get to, Alverscott. On we go. I've made it to Alverscott in record time. I've absolutely flashed that. I'd love to be taking a bus now. This is the suck for sure. Just coming out of there, I see the sign for Kencott's and Filkins. Unfortunately, that does look like I'm leaving the footpath. Oh, this is not what I wanted, but I knew it would eventually happen. I've made it to Filkins, hey! And not a moment too soon, because my willpower has just left me behind there. That stretch of 60-mile-an-hour road was just savage. I think that's the only word for that. This rain will not stop. I've never known rain to just drag on. It's slowed down to just almost nothing, but it will not stop. And there's this bright blue patch of sky to my left. Well, obviously that's the end of the rain, but it's just dragging its feet. I don't know what it is with these villages here, but they like this sort of thing, and I love it. And this is where I'm having my break because I need one. Made it to the next village. I believe this one's called East Leach. And that was quite a long walk on the roads there. Oof. And there was a small incline almost the whole way, which normally wouldn't be a problem, but that has my legs burning. It's getting really late now. This last section has killed me. Oh, I haven't filmed much just because it's been such a struggle. I'm out of energy. Oh, I was out of energy ages ago. It just hit me. The cold wind and plodding through with everything being damp as it was has just sapped my energy completely. There was a point back there on the country lanes where I literally just stopped in the middle of the road and had to get my peanut butter and crackers out and just have a couple of crackers with a ton of peanut butter on them just to keep me going. This last section was way longer than I expected it to be, and I've had to stop several times, and I think one of the times I stopped for far too long. I'm now paying the price for that kind of like laziness, I suppose. But yeah, I'm just shattered. This day has absolutely beat the hell out of me. I've had enough of this day. I really have. The camping spot that I was hoping to use wasn't actually a feasible camping spot. That's to my right just here. And I thought it was some sort of public park. It turns out it's a private park. You probably can't see it. You might be able to see the gate stuff, but yeah, everything around here has been super private and super closed off. There's some places, like there's a field to my left here. Unfortunately, it looks like there might be cows in the field, and the last thing I'm doing is camping near cows. I mean, that's always a bad idea, but I'm in a camo coloured bivvy, which to them is just going to look like the ground. They're going to trample right over me. I'm going to wake up with broken bones at some point, if not a crushed in skull. So that's out of the question. But at this moment in time, I'd accept anywhere where I can put my bivvy, even if it means having a cold dinner of chocolate milk again, and then I'll just have a scrambled egg in the morning maybe. I was really hoping to have the beef and veg stew tonight. I've got the second one of those to have, and that would have been lovely. Oh look, it's another one of these big bus stops. Oh, I'd love to use one of these, but this one's really open. The others have had like little bits at the side to make it a little bit less obvious what I'm up to. I guess I could be off really early in the morning before anyone else arrives, but that would be a big ask. That's kind of what happened this morning, and it's part of the reason why I'm feeling so destroyed at the moment. I think this has been a super long day. Admittedly, the way I'm thinking at the moment is, if this one hasn't defeated me, then I'm making it to the end. But of course, this day is not finished yet. Because I did not have a camp spot, so until that's safely in the bag and I know where I'm sleeping tonight, I can't say for sure that I've beaten this day.